The score is about to get settled. Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron 2 is going down on April 20th, with this being Whittaker's chance to prove himself against a tough veteran in Cameron after many thinking he was exposed in the first fight. So this is why Whittaker versus Cameron 2 will not end well.
And by the way, we're Punchtalk and are bringing you guys daily combat sports videos, so if you enjoyed the content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. So Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron 2 is finally taking place, and this is coming after their first fight in which it was a very controversial finish. As the rounds were going down and Ben Whittaker was starting to tire and it seemed like Liam Cameron was starting to grow into the fight, both Whittaker and Cameron got into the clinch and it seemed as if Ben Whittaker completely just flipped Liam Cameron over, resulting in them both falling over the ring, and Ben Whittaker was hurt from this exchange in which he seemed like he damaged his foot so much to which they had to call off the fight, as people were claiming this was Ben Whittaker getting exposed and he knew Liam Cameron was fully going to grow into this fight, win the rest of the rounds, and he was going to lose on the scorecards, taking the first loss on his record. Ben Whittaker being very hyped coming into this matchup. He's gone viral for all of his clips and highlights of being very elusive against different opposition. Of course, this is against lower level as he's been building in boxing, climbing up the ranks, being a hyped UK prospect. Of course, there's going to be some criticism with this style as he's moving around in the ring, dancing, and of course it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But the ending of that first fight is definitely not how you want to see things go down. And many people criticizing him for getting out on a wheelchair in the end of that fight and pretty much playing up to being severely injured just to escape that without an actual L on his resume. I mean, it's not like he was fully getting destroyed that entire fight. Early on, he looked fresh, he looked good, he was landing some solid shots and some different exchanges. But the main factor there is, as the fight was going on, we see how tough of a competitor Liam Cameron is. He was starting to wear down Ben Whittaker, landing very nice shots of his own, and this was fairly early into the fight. The rest of the rounds were definitely going to be Liam Cameron's, and he was going to keep winning them.
Yeah, going into this rematch, it seemed like Ben Whittaker has kind of not been taking that decision well, or I guess not really a loss, but a technical draw. There's been some excuses on his side. Now there's confusion about how many rounds this fight is going to be. Ben Whittaker's side seeming like they only want 10 rounds, but Liam Cameron saying they signed on for 12. They're going to have a 12-round fight. Then saying boxer Ben Shalom, Ben Whittaker, they don't want to do the full 12 rounds, so who knows how many rounds this is really going to be, because at the end of the day, if you're in Ben Whittaker's position, he probably knows that the longer it goes, it definitely favors Liam Cameron, because we saw in that first fight him starting to slow down, him starting to not look the same as the fight went in, and Cameron settling in, using those veteran tricks to make it rough, throw off Ben Whittaker's rhythm, throw off his timing, and just looking like he was on his way to beating Ben. So in my opinion, this is really important for Ben Whittaker's career and will tell us what level he is at. He is only 8-0. He's only 27 years old. Liam Cameron has been around. He has over 30 fights. He's 34 years old now. He's been in some big fights, has had a couple of losses here and there, but also has the experience, has the grit, has the toughness. I don't really see Ben Whittaker just putting Liam Cameron away easily. Cameron has never been stopped in his career. Out of his 6 losses, he's never had an actual stoppage loss. He's definitely very tough, very gritty, so Ben Whittaker really has to just impose a completely different game plan, in my opinion. Can't really expend everything early on. He has to pace himself. He has to warm up into this fight, but honestly, how Ben Whittaker can get away and escape those later rounds and the tides turning eventually in Liam Cameron's favor, I feel like this is going to end in a stoppage either way. They have to settle the score one way or another. Liam Cameron probably knows if this is going the distance, and if it's close in any way, they're probably going to favor Whittaker as the future prospect, the undefeated guy, the more marketable guy who people want to see rise in the future and eventually become a world champion. So this is very important for the Surgeon's career. If he does take a loss, it's not like that's the end of the road for him necessarily, but if it's in devastating fashion, that will definitely halt his momentum, and a lot of his hype, a lot of it has already kind of been stopped from that first fight against Liam Cameron, but on paper, it was a draw. He didn't take a loss. He didn't lose in that first fight, so this rematch is going to settle the score. This is really going to tell us what we need to know. If we see another freak incident, then we probably know what's going down, especially if Ben Whittaker starts to lose, and hopefully this time, if anything like that gets pulled again, which is probably very unlikely. I don't really see that happening. Obviously, Ben Whittaker is already under scrutiny for how that first fight ended, so he definitely has skills, he has talent, and he has promise, so who knows, is he going to be able to make those adjustments? Is he going to be able to come back in this rematch and put damage on Liam Cameron. Personally, I don't see how he gets him out of there, how he hurts him. If anything, Whittaker is going to have to stick to a regimented, simple game plan, boxing behind his jab, trying not to get caught, not go into the firefight with Cameron, which I don't know if he can do for 12 or 10 rounds, however long it is. It's going to be tough for Whittaker just going up against a much more experienced guy, and regardless of who takes this, I feel like this is going to be an even better fight than the first one with how much is now on the line.
Yeah, this is definitely Ben Whittaker's chance to show that he can hang at least against some tough guys. He's still young into his career, and I think it's a bit harsh to immediately say he's a fraud and he's not capable of competing against some top guys. He's still young into his career. He's an Olympic silver medalist. He's proven at least on those levels, and there's no reason to believe he can't at least do something of the sort in pro boxing. I can understand if you're down on him because you think he threw away that fight and he just wanted a way out of there. But in terms of his skill, it's way too early to say. If anything, this will be the real benchmark against Cameron in the rematch to see if he can really improve, if he can fight through adversity, if he's a fighter that can make adjustments when the going gets tough and actually show improvement from fight to fight. That's what you want to see from a prospect that's coming up and who's fairly inexperienced against top level in the pro scene. You want to see if they can make improvements from fight to fight. It's not necessarily about analyzing every single little detail in early on in their career. It's about what improvements they can make, and that's going to be the real test for Ben Whittaker here. I'm honestly guessing we're going to see a lot less of his dancing and different antics with his footwork in this fight. I think we might just see a more serious Ben Whittaker. Of course, I could be wrong because that is his personality type. He wasn't really dancing or emoting at all throughout that whole fight. He understood the level of competition Liam Cameron is. It's no walk in the park over there, and I'm sure we'll see the same thing for the rematch. It's just hard to say if he can make that many improvements in a short amount of time to put someone away that is tough, who is durable, who has fought some decent guys like Liam Cameron, who isn't there just to lose, to find a way out. And if Ben Whittaker is able to win this fight, especially in devastating fashion, stopping Liam Cameron, this will be a huge tell for some of the potentials in his fights. He still has the hype behind him. People are tuning in to watch him fight, and they're excited to see if he can put on a great performance.
Yeah, Ben Whittaker now changed trainers going into this fight. He's going to look to make adjustments, obviously with Andy Lee, who has trained some other guys that are on a resurgence and on a revenge tour right now, the likes of Joseph Parker, who's having this resurgence in his career in the heavyweight division. Now Ben Whittaker is going to look to do the same here. Even though he didn't lose, that technical draw on paper did not look great, and especially if you saw the fight, it looked like that was only heading one direction. But for Ben Whittaker's 10th fight, even to take on the level of opposition and to potentially beat Liam Cameron would be a big deal and put on a statement for the light heavyweight division. It's not like Liam Cameron has broken out of that elite echelon level and he's proven and established at the light heavyweight division as one of the top contenders. That's not the case in any means, but if you want to break through that top level, if you want to make it to become a world champion, you're going to have to deal with these kind of guys, the tough, gritty, experienced veterans who have been in there with other dogs before, and Liam Cameron is a live dog in this fight, another underdog. He was heavily overlooked going into that first fight, was a huge underdog. Now a little bit less, but still an underdog. People are favoring Ben Whittaker to make the adjustments, to get the job done, to get the win here, but it's still going to be a tough fight regardless. I feel like both guys are going to have that little more sense of urgency. Even Ben Whittaker, I mean, that first fight wasn't the greatest look for his brand, his reputation. If he wants to get that back, he's going to have to come and put on an emphatic performance. He's going to have to put on a statement. Sure, he can't just cruise maybe and try to outbox Liam Cameron over the distance, but I don't know if that's going to be the mentality he goes into this fight with. I feel like his ego definitely wants to get this one back and wants to put on a devastating performance. It's not going to be easy, and I feel like Liam Cameron definitely has a lot of tricks up his sleeve that definitely stopped Whittaker in his tracks in that first fight, but this fight is going to be fun and a sick rematch. They're both getting it back on straight away after the controversial result, to say the least, from that first fight. No funny business, just getting straight into it about 6 months after, so this is really going to tell us what we need to know, and in my opinion, this is definitely going to be even more banger of a fight than the first. So let us know your thoughts in the comments down below on Whittaker versus Cameron 2, the rematch. And if you guys enjoyed, check out the video on screen on why Canelo versus Skull will not be close.